So moving from depression to really enjoying life, what from their own words, right? People that had a really hard time, like having the energy to leave bed, right?
Mm.
There's no reason for life. And now, right, having joy, finding like I want to do things. I'm feeling like with their words, it's like I'm feeling better. I've never felt like this in my life.
This episode is sponsored by AI Your Superpower. Want to get seen, chosen, and recommended by AI? Go to aeo.iiyoursuperpower.com and download your free AI visibility playbook to stand out and grow with clarity.
Hello, and welcome back to Happiness by Habit, the podcast where we speak about how small intentional habits can make a difference and bring you joy in your life. And speaking of joy, I am so happy to present somebody who I really admire, appreciate, and that I consider my friend, Doctora Carolina Castaños, the founder of ReConnect. Caro, welcome to that show.
Hi, Silvana. Thank you so much for being in your show. A dear friend, too. And I'm so happy to be here talking about life and happiness and joy and how to bring that more into our lives.
Absolutely. And you are the expert about that specific topic. We are right now in her beautiful place called ReConnect. And this is just, I wish you can actually feel the atmosphere here. Is very relaxing, peaceful, and you can feel the amazing energy here. Let's talk about ReConnect, please.
So how ReConnect started? I opened ReConnect in 2021.
Okay.
But I had been really thinking about it for some time. So it's more than 30 years now.
Okay.
That I started studying psychology.
You were 5 years old.
I was. So I started studying psychology and I started doing therapy. Actually, my background is in psychoanalysis. So I did a lot of that work. And through that, actually, I started realizing the importance of understanding a little bit more. So I started with the individual. Psychoanalysis is very the individual in depth. And wondering, like, how is it that we connect with others? Like, really, what is the psychology of a connection, the relational psychology? And that led me later in life to pursue my doctorate in marriage and family therapy, which can help understand more of systems.
Okay.
And that really shifted my way of understanding things more in the connection of things, right? So it's not only one individual that, of course, you consider, like Freud talked about the Oedipus complex, right? The relationship with the parents. So yes, it is that. But it's different to understand, like, how does the system work? So then I worked a lot with couples and families and did that work. And I specialized also in trauma. So I did continue working with individuals. But there were some things, that I started, like it's good and therapy is amazing. And I needed more. My patients needed more. So I'm a very curious person. I love studying and broadening a little bit of my perspective. So when I started studying, for example, nutrition, right? So the importance of nutrition in mental health, right? How does your nutrition impact anxiety, depression, all those things, sound, breath work. So all those things. So I was like, wouldn't it be amazing if there was this one thing, everything under one roof that would be created in a very strategic way for people, because we do things like you go do maybe yoga or you exercise, but you don't think of connecting that with the process of psychotherapy. So that's how ReConnect started. And how it was born. It's evolved since then because today I include a lot of what would be neurological aspects. At the beginning I didn't, but then I started really entering into the brain and the importance of really looking into the brain to create programs that are tailored to people, but I'm really seeing, so I don't only look at your blood work, but I also want to look at your brain.
Love it.
Kind of the idea.
It's a very comprehensive approach. Let's back up for a second and explain the audience what is ReConnect.
So ReConnect is an integrative center for mental health where we offer programs for people. So the idea is to really transform your life. Again, in psychotherapy, you do transform. This is, however, deeper. So the transformations that I am seeing are really pretty incredible. And it's faster because I can tell you, like, I've got patients that have been doing therapy for years. These are like in 12 weeks, you do see a tremendous change and shift in your life because we are considering all these different aspects.
That is one of the things that makes ReConnect unique, because of the comprehensive approach. Because a lot of people, as you mentioned, focus maybe on therapy, maybe focus on yoga, maybe focus on nutrition, but you kind of put it all together in a way that yes, makes sense, and is the results are much faster. And you have seen them like you have put together these programs that are typically 12 weeks, no?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are some of the results you have seen in your patients with this after these 12-week programs?
I'm smiling because that's the reason why.
Oh, that's your why.
So that's let's see. Well, so some of my patients, for example, that have gone into deep depression, and I'm like, because I know, I'm like, you need to do this eventually. Okay, that's things I've seen, right? So moving from depression to really enjoying life, what from their own words, right? People that had a really hard time, like having the energy to leave bed, right? There's no reason for life. And now, right, having joy, finding like I want to do things. I'm feeling like, with their words, it's like I'm feeling better. I've never felt like this in my life. This is new for me.
Very powerful.
Like discovering how it feels to feel in your body, to feel present, to feel happy, to enjoy. So those are the things I see also with addictions. So people that have really reduced significantly, the craving, they're like, I don't need it.
Wow, that is
Especially,
so powerful.
Yes, with pop, they're like, I don't want to. It's just their body is not asking them.
I can understand totally how that can become your why, because it's so powerful. You're literally, through these programs, you're saving lives. Like, if you think about it, because depression and addictions are real problems here in the US. And yes, a lot of times people don't even pay attention to these things that can become really a big problem. There is this type of such a thing that people don't want to even talk about, being depressed, but it's a real big problem in the US.
And depression can lead to suicide, and we see that in different ages. There's an increase in teenagers, but we see it in different ages. And these are things that you like really wonder, like friends and family that don't understand how this person, they didn't know that they were in that deep into a depression, and that would lead them to something like that. So definitely these are things that I think we don't consider, like the importance, like you're saying, it is a life. Yeah.
Wow, yes. And this is a big thing I would like to take away from this conversation for the audience. What would be your advice for somebody who might feel depressed, who might feel sad, but they don't tell anybody? They just are feeling this inside and they don't communicate, and maybe nobody knows about it, but they need help.
Silvana, that is because it is so hard to ask for help. There's this sense that if I ask for help, I am weak. I have to keep all this, and I have to keep going. And sometimes substance abuse is kind of, depression is underlying that.
Yeah, because they are trying to fulfill that emptiness, which somehow, that.
Yeah. So a couple things. One, really look for a professional. Two, even if it's a friend, someone reach out to that one person. And three, and I know this is super hard, especially when you're depressed, but connecting, the community, just being part of something. And it can be sometimes, and this happens when we have been hurt by other humans, relationships feel dangerous, but go and help in a, shelter. Connect with dogs, connect with cats, and start being part of, maybe you'll discover some other humans that share that love for whatever it is that you love. It can be plants, whatever, but really, really that. So when ReConnect is not only just the connection with you, but it's also the connection with all, so earth, outside, not only other people, because that is very healthy as well.
Wow.
You'll realize that you're never alone, because part of depression is that sense of isolation, loneliness.
Wow, that's why it became a bigger problem during the pandemic as well, right? That was a really big issue. Wow, that's so powerful. And I can appreciate definitely the power of community. And we all need a community, and being part of a community, feeling needed, feeling like that you can contribute to a group, to a larger meaning is a very powerful and beautiful feeling. And that is one of the things that you provide here at ReConnect as well, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the community and ReConnect. Does it look like?
Yes. So community, as you just said, is a super important part of not only the healing process, but life. And that is one of the hardest things to do. The way that we live, the way our society is created, we are busy, we're doing our thing. There's not a sense of a we. So ReConnect is a community, and we have group sessions. And because it's small, right? So groups are small. So you will be seeing these people and you get to know them, and all of our classes. So our classes are structured in a way that we combine things. So you're not going to find those classes anywhere else. So even if we do, for example, sound healing, it will involve maybe journaling and some very specific meditations and stuff while you do the sound healing. And there will be a moment to connect. So there's always that. So something very special has, because people have seen each other in these groups, and then so maybe they're coming for one session, and there's times when they just happen to be coming at the same time, and it's so special because it's almost like a family.
Yes.
Hey, how are you? How's it going? And we have like this, we'll show later, like this type of thing where everyone adds on it. So it's also, this is a little bit part of that community. Sometimes we have like a drawing and everyone just adds something.
And yes, I want to make sure at the end we'll show you a little bit around, because this is very special. As you mentioned, kind of here, like a lot of natural light, like a flow, like the kitchen here. Very inviting places where you can actually relax and feel a lot of peace. As soon as you walk in, it's something in the energy. It's very powerful. Let's talk a little bit more about the actual treatments that you offer here. I was so lucky, and I I received a neural reset treatment. I didn't know what to expect because it was the very first time I got that kind of treatment, and it was so beautiful. At the end of the day, it was like an hour and a half process, the whole thing. And I came and I was tired. I was a little bit stressed out maybe, but as soon as I walked in, it was just such a beautiful feeling, the atmosphere, the people, the energy. And then at the end, the treatments, I left relaxed and a new person. Let's talk about that specific process.
Yeah. One thing that we do to have, so people, one, can feel, it's called a reset. So it resets your nervous system, but also it's to give people a little taste of what neurostimulation is, because even the word can be a little scary. Are you gonna zap my brain? Yes and no. So because if you just think about how the brain works, right? It's electrochemical, right? But the neurons communicate via chemicals, but it's electricity, right? So we have to speak to neurons in the same way. Medications do it in the chemical way. I do it in the electrical way. So when your neurons communicate, they create certain frequencies, and certain frequencies are related with different parts of the brain. So when you are in a state of stress, right, there are certain frequencies that are higher, right? So it's like faster. And so what we do is we provide slower frequencies, and we provide that through the mastoids. So that connects with actually the brainstem, which is connected with, system. So it calms you down, right? It's almost like it rocks you to sleep. Now, when you come here, and you might have maybe remember that we ask, right? Because we don't have a one size fits all either. So we know where you are, and according to that, okay, we're like, okay, this frequency or that one. But what that does is really, it resets your nervous system into this state of calm. And then what you did was the Soma dome, which is a meditation pump.
Oh, I love that.
So it uses binaural beats, and it uses light in a way that it takes your brain into certain frequencies. So it enhances that state of calm.
It's special. I really recommend it to anybody listening because it can make a difference. It's like definitely I know the made my day. At the end of the day, I was really relaxed and happy. Happier. I was already happy, but I came out happier. Appreciated this special.
So we combine neurostimulation
Mm-hmm.
with you. It was the pod because the objective was to take you to this place. But we also combine it with a hyperbaric oxygen tank.
Mm-hmm.
That one works more at a cellular level. And when you provide the cell with oxygen, actually the mitochondria, which is the one that produces energy. So you have an increase of energy production naturally, right? And that helps heal not only your brain or your nervous system, but all your body. So we combine things. Yes. Which is kind of
Very
a little mini idea of the program.
Yes.
Right?
And let's talk a little bit about the rest of the program because that's one of the services, but also you include nutrition, you include yoga. Yes. Let's talk about the whole thing and about that 12-week process. What does it look like and what is typically the expectations of somebody going through that program?
So the 12-week program, it starts with a very thorough assessment. So the assessment includes, I want to look at your brain. So we were talking about the electrical activity of the brain. Well, I want to see. So I want to see the electrical activity of your brain when it's at rest. So it's doing nothing. So I ask you to stare at the wall for 10 minutes and then close your eyes 10 minutes. But then I want to assess how your brain works when it has a task. It's called the ERC. This is called the EEG and then the ERC. So I quantify those, and then I observe them. So that is one of the assessments. I also want to look at what's going on in your body. So we do ask for blood work. We want to know the functioning of your liver. We want to know metabolic, like what's going on there. And then there's also neurocognitive tests, memory, speed in which you process information. And I also want to know psychological in terms of stress, depression, anxiety. Those three would be the basic ones if we see PTSD and trauma. According to so it's a very, very thorough initial assessment. And that also includes a nutritional assessment. From that, we create your plan, right? And your plan will include neurostimulation in some way, right? According to whatever we saw. Hyperbaric, most likely. It's not for everyone, but it is something that's really good if you can do it. It includes the Soma, which is our meditation pod. And it includes different therapies that are more like somatic. And so we have shiatsu, we have like different things that, and again, we have a whole list of, and you can choose, or I can tell you, okay, these are the things that I think would be good for you. Right. And that it also includes the groups, and the groups would be like, these are monthly or biweekly, depending on whatever you want to do. So we have sound healing and we have yoga and we have different activities that are group activities.
Who is this for? Is there a specific group you deal with where you have seen the best results?
This is for people that are really burnt out, that are these high achievers that are like, go, 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 go. I've got it all. But really
Sounds familiar. Anybody over there?
Are not, taking care of everything and everyone, but not of themselves, So it's really slowing down and saying,
we'll start first by like in the airplane, like you put your oxygen mask first before helping kids or
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I think we don't realize how we put it as stress, and it's way more than that. And unfortunately, I think we pay attention to it when sometimes your body just breaks. Something really big happens. They're like, my gosh, it is, Now, you might be noticing the effects of this, right? Whether because you feel depressed or super anxious, but sometimes we mask that, right? It can be work. That work is a really good way not to see. But you might be experiencing at work, maybe, that you don't have the motivation that you did, that you're doing what you're doing and your business is running and you have everything. But that thing, it's missing.
The drive to
that drive, that little spark, that's missing. You might notice it in your relationships, right? You might be more irritable. You know, you may be sitting down and thinking, how present am I in my kids' lives, So all these are kind of markers that can tell you, hey, there's something you need to pay attention to.
Absolutely. This is well, that covers pretty much anybody over there, anybody in the world, pretty much, because we can all relate to half of or at least half of the things you mentioned. It's a very real thing, no? A lot of times we work so hard, we try to do everything and take care of everybody, but then there is this feeling, no, that can be improved. Yes. What about kids? Do you work with kids as well?
I do.
Yeah,
I do. I do. I work with kids.
Okay.
I work with kids at different ages. I do have to say that when I work with kids, I also work with the parents.
Yeah.
'Cause that's really, really important.
Yes.
To understand the whole system.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this has been fascinating, Carolina. It's been a pleasure. Is there any final thoughts you want to leave the audience with? Perhaps a piece of advice, or I know you have a gift for the audience also. If they would like, the ones who live in Austin or in Texas, in the area, I really recommend you pay a visit to Dr. Castaños. This place is really amazing.
Yeah. Well, I do. I invite everyone to come here and visit. I want to offer everyone that's just here looking at us and watching this episode with an $100 off for your new reset. So you can come and try it out and see what this is about. It is one of those things that you have to experience.
Oh, yes.
It's very different when they tell you about it. It's something different when you actually go ahead and do it. And well, I hope you come here. You're welcome here. And I hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. And we are going to put here the information about ReConnect. And if you are in Austin or nearby, I strongly recommend you to visit. It's been a pleasure. Stay in touch and keep living with intentional habits that bring you joy one day at a time. It's been a pleasure. See you next time. Bye-bye.